Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. I will be in Vegas today, so when you see this video released, which will be Thursday, I will be there in Vegas in probably a couple more hours than when it's released. This video is going to be different. Let's put it that way. It's going to be very, very different. As some of you know, or maybe you don't know, we live in Arizona. Yes, it's hot. It is hot here. My wife does not sweat. And so there's only a couple things you could possibly do in the summertime just for her safety and because it's 120 degrees outside. And when it's 120, 115, the things you do outside are going to be very limited. You don't want to sit there and be out there. You can sit there and, I used to live in the east, and most of the time once the sun goes down, the temperature goes down. It's not that way here. It's still hot at midnight. It's kind of like Texas. Houston, it's hot. Dallas, it could be midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's still hot. So during those times that really it's not safe for us to go outside, being that my wife has that medical condition that she just doesn't perspire. There's not much you can do except watch videos. So last weekend I sat there and I watched as many videos as I could on live craps. I would put my strategy into place when other people are throwing and making sure I had the best strategy possible. Might sound odd to you, but that's what I do. Another, for instance, I've said before, last year I won over 100,000, or really close to 100,000, just in hand pays, playing slots. And the way I did it was just watch them. Watch videos that are stop to start. This is how much money we started with. This is how long it took us to get to the bonus. And this is what we won on the bonus. I do the same thing for craps. If I make sure that no matter what situation, I'm not going to win every single time, but I want to have an influx of wins, loss, wins, loss, wins, loss, so that by the time it comes back to me for me to roll, I have not gone up or down in money. Going up is okay, but you're going to come back down because not one single strategy will work perfect for every random thrower, but it will get you there. It will get you very close. You say, well, why do you want to sit there and play for everyone's turn? In my casino, that's the way the rules are. If I didn't want to play and just completely wait till 12 people roll till it got to me, would they not allow me to play? No, they would let me play. They know who I am, and they would let me play. But I try to set a good example for those around, so if I want to, I could just sit there and twiddle my thumbs and wait for my turn. But I'm not going to do that. To me, that's more of a fun game for me to see how close to being where I stopped on my roll to 12 people, 10 people till it gets to me, and hopefully I'll be exactly there. This week I'm going to sit there and call it cookie cutter craps players. I noted a few things, and I will show you later on in the video. I'll show you on the craps table what I mean, so I might go into more explanation. But everybody was identical. Everybody was losing identically. I didn't even see one time that someone made a lot of money off of the table. Now, of course, I could not see how they were betting on the whole table just because of the camera angle. There were some people that were doing it, I guess maybe something here because you could tell they were doing it undercover. There were some that, they allowed them to bring their camera in and record. So there was different channels, different situations. And there are times that you couldn't see everyone's bet, but for the most part, I could see at least half or more than half of everyone's bet. And nobody became a winner. And that was bothersome to me. Over 30 videos I watched, and they would range from 30 minutes to over an hour. You can watch any YouTube video you want to on 2 times the speed, and that will save you from having to watch the whole thing at the speed it's recorded. I always talk faster so that when someone tries to do that, they'll miss half of what I say because I'm talking so fast. But I don't want us, or me, or you to be a cookie cutter craps player. Just because I was taught it this way doesn't mean I got to do it this way. The first thing was everyone was on the pass line. Everyone was on the pass line. If you ever have been there at the table when somebody new shows up, hey, this is Joe, first time craps player, and the way that the other people set it up around them, well, the first thing you want to do is put money on the pass line. I wouldn't have it that way. What I would say is, it's like baccarat. Do you want to go with the banker or do you want to go with the player? With the banker would be the don't. With the player, it would be the pass. It's 50-50. People treat it like it's some horrible demon. It's not. It's 50-50. From the start of the game in the morning to the last game at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you were to sit there and average it all out, it should be 50-50. It might not be during your hour of playing, especially if there was a lot of people that were random throwers, or if there's a lot of people that were dice setters. But truly, at the end of the day, it's going to be 50-50. Do you want to go with the banker, or do you want to go with the player? Now, if it were presented to me like that, I would say, well, I want to go with the casino, because I always know the casino wins. The casino does have an advantage, being the don't. You got to get past the 7 first, but once you get past the 7 and there's a point established, they know that you're going to probably win. That's why that you can, once you put the don't down and the puck is off, you can't pick up your bet. But once the puck is turned on to that number, you can pick up that bet, because the casino knows you're a fool if you sit there and take that money off the pass line, because you already went through having to be a 7. That's why the pass line is just the opposite. You can put down money on the pass line and pick it back up as long as the point's not set. But once the point is set, you are locked down. You cannot pull that money off of the pass line. Now, some people do, but that's the way the rules are. At least that's where I play, that once a pass line bet is made and the puck is turned on, you cannot do anything with that pass until 7 comes out or whatever was rolled comes out. That's the way the rules are. So the casino doesn't care what you do at first, but then when they know that you're going to lose, or you have more chances of losing than winning, you're contracted to that bet and there's nothing else you can possibly do. Whereas at the start, you're contracted with the don't until the puck is turned on. But I was never explained that way, and probably you weren't explained that way either. It was always you pass line, put money on the pass line. Once the point's made, you sit there and you put a couple, you pick a number, 2 numbers, 3 numbers. That's what you do. You sit there, and you put money behind the pass line. You put money on the pass line, point comes out, you put money behind the pass line. One thing I noticed that was for sure on every video I watched, when the person first got there, you could always tell, when the person first got there and they were playing and they weren't losing yet, they always put odds. Always put odds. And yet they lose. They lose tremendously, they lose. When they got halfway through their money, those odds went away. And yet, when I sit there and do a video without odds on my pass line, the comments just keep on flying. Oh, that's the best thing you can do. It's zero house advantage. Why is it that when you're playing, then not everyone does that? It depends on how much money you have. Depends if you're going to do that odds or not. Because halfway through it, after they were losing half of their bankroll, those odds bets gone. Absolutely gone. Everyone was playing at least 2 place bets. A place bet would be like the 10, the 9, the 8, the 6, the 5, the 4, at least 2. So money on the pass line, they back it up with odds once the point's made, and then they'd have 2 or more place bets. It'd be like the Iron Cross. Most people weren't playing the field. There was a couple that played the field. The thing about that is that if that's where your money's at, you've got to have at least 7 to 8 rolls to break even. 7 to 8 rolls of the dice. Once the puck is turned on and we're going, you have to sit there and do that just to break even. People weren't even breaking even. 1 lap around the table and they've already lost half of their bankroll. I'm going to make a statement now and think about it. We're trying to learn. I'm not trying to sit there and stir the pot. We're trying to learn. If you are down $200 or more and you are only doing minimum bets, there's no possible way you're going to make it up. There is no possible way you're going to make up $200 at all by doing just minimum. Minimum on the pass line, minimum on any of these numbers. It doesn't really matter. Minimum on the field, minimum on come, does not matter. Once you have lost over $200, I would say it would be impossible for you to come back even if all you're doing is just minimum bets. Minimum. You could be there for 10 hours. Maybe you could do it if you were lucky, and you had an unlimited, bankroll. But I just don't see it happening. When I'm playing slots and I know how much money I put in it and I know what level I'm playing, there's a point of no return. There's a point of I could get the maxi, the mini, the minor, and it still won't cover the money I have in this machine. It's time to walk away. If I get the grand, then yeah, I could sit there and make up for all this lost money. But you have to sit there at that point, sit there and say, there's no reason for me to go on any further. I'm going to sit there and wait this out. I'll come back tomorrow, whatever it might be, because after 200, it's not going to be in your best interest. Now, if you want to sit there and double up, sure. But remember, I said minimum bet 200 or more that you're down just to bring it back up. Minimum bet. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to sit there and do 102 across. And hopefully that player does not 7 out. And hopefully you have enough sense to sit there and say, that's the third roll, I'm taking it down. That's the only way you're going to make up that loss of just an easy $200. To me, $200 is truly not that much, but yet they keep on playing. They keep on playing to 300 down, 400 down, 500 down. At 200, you should leave unless you want to sit there and risk it. If you're not risking it, you're not going to win. You're absolutely not going to win. If you don't put more money in that slot machine, bring your bet up, because it's always going to be anywhere from a 10 times your bet all the way up to 50, 70 times your bet. If you're already down 500, you better be spending $75 to $100 to bring yourself back up. But of course, that just brings you deeper in. At that point, you might as well sit there and say, I'm going off and find a different slot machine. That's the whole reality of it all. Nobody changed their betting strategies when it was their turn to roll. It was pass line, odds, place bets when it was their turn to roll. When it was somebody else's turn to roll, same thing. Your turn to roll, it should sit there and boost you up. When I roll, as long as I do a good job, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just 0.7 out. It happens. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. But that should be your boost. That should be your $200 more, $500 more, $700 more. That's the way it should be. If it's not, then we need to sit there and fix that. If it's not, we need to sit there and practice dice setting. That's the smalls about it right there. On all the videos I watched, and like I said, there's over 30 because I went back and checked. I went back and actually I watched this one, and it's not just one channel. Don't sit there and think I'm sitting there going after one channel. I'm not. I was watching some that were back 6 or 7 years ago, and I remember watching them when they were new. During the whole entire time of watching it, absolutely nobody won a small, tall, all. There were some tables that didn't have it. But the tables that I could clearly see visible, they'd have it, and people were playing, nobody won it. If you have 10 people at the table, and you do it for every person, and you're doing $15, 5 for small, 5 for tall, 5 for all, that's $15. 10 people, that's $150 that you're losing going around the table. Yes, it's an awesome bonus, but if nobody's going to hit it, it's a sucker bet. That's all it truly is. It is a sucker bet. I'll just say it that way. Nobody was playing the short game. I know there's two people that always say play the short game. I say play the short game. The bone thrower says play the short game, where you sit there and count second roll, third roll, fourth roll, I'm pulling it, or whatever it might be. If you know you can sit there and roll 10 without a 7, then pull it off at 7 or 8, because you don't want to risk having all that money for a 7 out and lose it. But nobody was doing a short game. Practice a short game. Do 102 across, 2 turns of the dice and pull it all down. Try it. But what if they roll a 7? You're not winning now anyways. At least you have 2 rolls and you have, something. But right now, all you're doing is just losing. Another thing I saw, and this is not just all the time, this is, I would have to say for the most part, when the come out roll came out, nobody was playing the crap check. So when they rolled a 2 and a 3 or a 12, your pass line goes away. Here's one thing about a pass, the crap check that some people don't know. A lot of people say C and E. Well, why are you playing E if you're already on the pass line? E is 11. There's no sense of playing the E part because you're already on the pass line. You roll an 11, you're on the pass line, you're going to sit there and get your money back, even money. When you're playing the C, it is to cover the 2, the 3, and the 12. It pays 5 to 1. Let me make sure I have this right. No, it pays 3 to 1. It pays 3 to 1. If you put $1 on midnight, that's 30 to 1. If you put $1 on $2, that's 30 to 1. If you put $1 on 3, that's 15 to 1. You tell me which one's better. $3 on a craps check pays 3 to 1. You'll get back $9. Or $1 on 2, $1 on 12, and $1 on 3. That gets you either $30 back or $15 back. I would rather have it that way. Forget about the C. Put money down. I want $1 on 2, $1 on 12. And when they try to put you back into C, say, no, I don't want that. That pays 3 to 1. I don't want that because I'm going to roll midnight. And I want my $30. So think about that. Think about the E. There's no sense of putting the E on if you are playing the pass line. If you are playing the pass line, the way that you're going to get knocked off is a 2, a 3, or a 12. But you can cover that in the little special area over here. Nobody was dice setting. There were people that you could clearly see had 6s on top, or 3s on top, 2s on top. But they weren't hitting their landing zone every single time. They weren't, you could tell, not throwing it from the same distance every single time. The dice would come rapidly back, or the dice would come off the table. Talk about the table. If your dice keep on falling off the table, that would be the time for you to play the don't. Do not play the pass line. If they can't keep the dice on the table, play the don't. If you've made it all the way around the table and the dice have not yet left the table, you're probably favored to play the pass line because the dice aren't, the table's not bouncy. But if every turn someone loses dice over the edge, play the don't. Stick with the don't. As a bouncy table. The odds of them hitting that number again, slim to none. And the casino knows that, and that's the reason why they do it. They want you to lose more money. Most people play the pass line. Fewer people play the don't. Make the table more bouncy, we get more money. Simple as that. I'm going to show you some things on the table, and hopefully they'll just kind of send it home. I want you to be a better craps player. I want to be a better craps player. There's things I learned just by watching those 30 videos. There's more than 30. That I'm going to hold for the rest of my life. It's going to make me a better player. Am I going to win all the craps games? Of course not. But you know, in my back of my mind, I'm going to think about that. Oh, that was a dumb thing for me to do. I should have had my money here. It's all about thinking. Just because everybody around you is doing it doesn't mean that you should do it. So I'm going to show you some things on the table, and hopefully you'll send it home so you sit there and go, yeah, you know what? You're right. I should change how I'm playing so I bring home more money. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Give me your comments. If you don't like it, just tell me. I've got big shoulders. You won't be the first one to sit there and tell me. And here goes the rest of the video. All right, guys, cookie cutter craps. This is what you see. And tell me if I'm wrong. Watch some videos. Tell me if I'm wrong. You got to have money there. The person rolls. It's now here. Oh, you got to sit there and have money here. You got to sit there and have money here. And that's the way it is. And then you sit there and lose all the money there. It's 50-50. Hook is off. If I want to take this off, as long as this is off, I can take this off whenever I want to. Once this is down and they start rolling, even though this might be off, this is contracted. I cannot take this off. Once this is on, I can remove that. Why? Because a 7 should come out sooner. Once this is turned to on, I cannot remove this. Why? Because a 7 should come out sooner. It's 50-50. On the come out roll, with the puck turned off, you got to avoid the 2, the 3, and midnight. So 3 numbers you've got to avoid. If you put your money here, you only have to avoid the 7 and 11, or yo. 2 numbers to avoid. If you hit midnight, it doesn't hurt you. It won't do anything. They'll just kind of like a push. That's all they'll sit there and do. 50-50. Baccarat, it would be player, banker. On Baccarat, the player is the favored one to win. You do have a commission on it, but truly the banker is just a hair favored to win over the player. But nobody ever presents these two as a 50-50. And they are. 50% of the time, 50% of the time. Don't sit there and be stuck here. If you're stuck here, you're going to lose 50% of the time. If you're going to be stuck here, be making bets up here. That's going to offset a 7. Once you make whatever it is that you want to make, have them take it down for you, and you can either take this down or leave it there. It's completely up to you. But this is truly 50-50, just like Baccarat. Player, banker. I hope that sheds some light. Now, should you always be bouncing back and forth like that? I really don't think so. I think that if you're rolling, and as long as you're not trying to roll a 7, you should be on the pass line. That's how I play. It doesn't mean it works for everybody. But if I'm rolling, I'm on the pass line. When I'm not rolling, I'm on the don't. Because nobody else is dice setting. Nobody else rolls the way I roll. I hope that has helped somebody. I hope. Tell me what your thoughts are. Please sit there and comment. This is all about a learning experience for everybody. For those new people that are watching, and for the ones that have been doing this before they were truly allowed to gamble, like me. I was playing craps at the age of 16. I was kicked out of casinos many times because I was underage. Tell me your thoughts. Please like, share, subscribe, keep this channel going. And if you ever want to meet up in Vegas, and if I'm there, and I'll sit there and hook you up, and we'll sit there and play some craps. And if you sit there and say, "Hey, what do you think about my throw?" I'll sit there and tell you, man. This is what I would do. This is how I would change it. Or you're doing fine. I don't have a problem doing that. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.